So you guys want to know what's dumb about gaming? Memory cards. One of the biggest issues about memory cards is the sizes. Sometimes they're okay in the size, but other times they get smaller when the years pass by. Seriously, I don't know how they always mess this up. For one thing, is that when they first started this whole memory card trend, they originally had these memory cards for like PlayStation and Nintendo 64, but the only problem is that the sizes, yeah, they're small, and it's not enough for big games to fit in there. Seriously, what if you get like two memory cards and you buy like maybe 20 or 30 games on PlayStation, you still don't have enough space? Well, they did make these Pro memory cards for like the PS1, 64, and Dreamcast, which is more like four memory cards in one, which is cool, but it still probably won't be enough for you to preserve your saves, and it makes no sense. Also, what makes it even worse is password saves. Seriously, if I wanted to use a password save, I could, but that was only if you don't have a memory card. But even then, they could be rendered useless, because one thing, the passwords are long, and two, they sometimes don't give you the items that you really need, and it makes no sense. Other things is that games like the sports games on the Dreamcast, like the 2K ones for the example, they take up the whole memory cards. Like, are you kidding me? A sports game take up your whole memory card. Yet every other game doesn't seem to have that issue. But then later on, we would get some memory cards that would fit up the size, which has more storage, which is good. But you're still going to be running out of space regardless. And then you wonder why hard drives were invented. But then we got like SD cards or micro SD cards. Like, the SD card stuff was okay, but then the micro SD cards started becoming more complicated. Why? Because they're small and you can easily lose them, just like any other memory card you can get. One of the other things is that the PlayStation Vita, that's another example. That's the reason why the system failed, that was because of the memory cards. Not only because they're small, but the ridiculous price. Like, they just want you to spend like $200 on the little thing. And the biggest one out of all of them is 64 gigabytes, and it's still not enough. And then you wonder why people homebrew the thing is so they can fit more storage. I don't even know about this stuff. The memory card stuff has always been a pain. You either have that or you have the password system. Cartridges were always saved inside the thing, but in other cases on Nintendo 64, half the games you could save it on the cartridge, half of them requires memory card. I don't understand this. It's a cartridge. You can save inside the system. Regular Nintendo and Super Nintendo has proven this. Even the Genesis have proven this as well. So what's going on with this? I really don't know anymore. Other than that, the memory card nonsense is dumb. But can you believe I'm telling you guys this? But even Xbox somehow had a memory card, and I never even knew this. That's what the controller slots on the top of the thing were for anyway. Who would have guessed that? But other than that, there's really nothing more else to say. But the memory card stuff can be nonsense. You could even easily lose them if you had to or whatever. But how do you guys lose a memory card? You stuck it into the card of the system itself. It makes no sense. But sometimes the memory cards are also in forms of cartridges, like the Sega Saturn and the Atari Jaguar, for example. But the Jaguar only uses that for the CD games. Same with the Saturn. But who would have thought in today's day we'd be using memory cards in terms of modding older systems like the PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 2? Or maybe the GameCube, for example. But sometimes there is a good way to do memory cards. In fact, there has been memory card converters out there for the PSP. Like, they had like these memory sticks, which originally memory sticks I think were used for like cameras, but Sony opted to use them for like the PSP instead, which is fine. The way you adapt the thing was use a micro SD card, you put it in there, you're all set. I think that's the only thing I can think of. But other than that, I know that the Vita has something like that, but it goes into your game cartridge. What if I want to use my physical copy? You know, that just makes no sense, you know? the PSP Go doesn't have a memory card for some dumb reason, so they opt for internal storage instead. Even that's not even enough. And here's another thing too. The 3DS, yeah, let's get to that one as well. At first, when the 3DS came out, you had your regular SD card, but then when you wanted the new 3DS or maybe whatever, you had to opt to use the micro SD card instead. But it was so complicated. You want to know how you insert it? Okay, so you flip it back to your 3DS or whatever, right? And you have to screw it in there. Yeah, let's just screw a micro SD card into the thing. Not really, but you get it. You have to unscrew the system, you put it out, you put the SD card in there, and then you screw it back in. I don't see the point of this. Like, let me just put any card in there without any problems. Any of the handheld didn't have any problems with this, so why does this one is so complicated? Even the Nintendo Switch didn't force you to screw something in there. They had you like, there's a latch or whatever that was just meant for you to, it's a stand or whatever. You just put it in there and you're all set. You know, that's what I just hate about these things. They do the most complicated things in gaming. And I just think that's about it for memory cards. Yeah, sometimes you can lose them, but other times they have the most complicated space that you can ever have in terms of storage. But I'm pretty sure that's all I can really say about these dumb things. But yeah, today's equivalent is the hard drives or the SSDs and whatever. Even those are alright, but maybe a story for another time.